Hi everyone and welcome! In this video, we'll give you a quick overview of migrating your Tempo apps from Jira Data Center to Jira Cloud. This includes Tempo Timesheets and Capacity Planner. Migrating to Tempo Cloud offers numerous benefits, including improved performance, scalability, and access to the latest features. We'll focus on the critical pre-migration steps and key phases to ensure a smooth transition. Here's the specific agenda for this session. We'll give you an overview of the JCMA, Jira Cloud Migration Assistant, and why it's the best method for migrating. We'll talk through the pre-migration steps. You'll see a demo showing how to migrate Tempo apps using the JCMA. We'll point out some crucial post-migration steps. We'll mention some common problems that can happen during migration and how to troubleshoot them, as well as some extra tips to make your migration go as smoothly as possible. And lastly, we'll highlight some resources that should be helpful to you on your migration journey. But before we get started, here are some quick housekeeping notes. Since this is an on-demand webinar, feel free to skip ahead to specific sections that interest you or that you want to learn about. If you have any questions while you are watching, we encourage you to reach out to our support team. At the end of this on-demand webinar, we'll provide you with some next steps to further help you migrate your Tempo apps. So let's get into it. First, I'll explain what the JCMA is, the Jira Cloud Migration Assistant, and why you should use it. The JCMA is a free app built and maintained by Atlassian. It makes the process of migrating from DC to the cloud much easier than doing it manually. It's a project-based method that allows you to select with more flexibility which projects and apps you want migrated to the cloud. Using this method, Tempo's work logs and its core features will be migrated automatically. The migration process is divided into tasks, and each task has the responsibility to migrate a specific part of Tempo's structure. As the tasks finish, you can follow along using the progress bar, showing your migration status in real time until it hits 100%. Now let's go through some important pre-migration steps. We recommend that you read Tempo's DC to cloud documentation in the Atlassian pre-migration checklist before continuing. Both documents are linked at the end of this video. There are precautions described there that will help you have a successful migration. Here are the major ones. First, ensure that the JCMA is installed and up to date in your data center instance. This free app from Atlassian is crucial for the migration. Ensure you're using the latest version of each Tempo app. At the time of this recording in October 2025, you should be using minimum app version 16.0 to allow for a successful migration. Turn on debug logs in your Jira DC instance. This will provide valuable insights during the migration process if anything goes wrong. Check the time zones of the DC instance in the cloud site before migrating. They need to be the same, otherwise work logs may shift back by one day. And finally, test your migration in a controlled environment before doing it in a production instance. So let's now watch this demo of how to migrate Tempo apps from DC to cloud. Start off in Jira on your DC instance. From the settings, go to the Manage Apps page. Select Manage Apps on the sidebar and go to Tempo Timesheets and Capacity Planner to make sure that they're up to date. It is also recommended to access the administration pages of Tempo Timesheets and Capacity Planner to ensure that they are functioning correctly before you migrate. This confirms a healthy starting point. Next, ensure that the JCMA is installed and up to date. Again, this free app from Atlassian is crucial for the migration. Then click the Systems tab. Another crucial step is to verify that the time zone settings in your DC instance match the time zone settings in your Jira Cloud site. This is because time zone discrepancies can cause issues with time tracking data. Next, click Migrate to Cloud on the sidebar. This is where you will create your migration plan. Click Create New Migration. And review the steps on the How It Works page. Then click the Connect to Cloud button at the bottom. This is where you will connect your DC instance to your Jira Cloud site through the JCMA. You'll need administrator credentials for both of them. Now, give a name to your migration. Choose the migration stage, and choose or verify the destination cloud site. Then click Choose Migration Options at the bottom. Here you will select the Jira projects you want to migrate. Make sure to select whether you want all data or only attachments for the selected projects. Then click Add to Migration at the bottom. You can skip the advanced roadmaps plans. If it applies to you, select Dashboards, Boards, Filters, and Automation Rules. Verify that the options are correct, then click Add to Migration. Select assets or skip them, depending on your setup. Select the users and groups that you want to migrate, all of them or only ones related to the Jira data you're migrating. And select whether to preserve the group membership or not. Then click Add to Migration. Select the customers you want to migrate, all of them or only ones who are referenced in the Jira data you're migrating. Then click Add to Migration. Lastly, select the apps you want to migrate so they can be selected during the JCMA steps. Click the Apps You Selected link and check that each app you plan to migrate is listed there, and that the drop-down to its right is set to Needed in Cloud. In this case, we're migrating only Tempo timesheets, but make sure that Capacity Planner is displayed here if you want to also migrate it. Click Done, and the app assessment is complete. Then return to the Select Apps page and click Apply Changes. Now you can click Save and Run Pre-Migration Checks, and then review any messages that you may have on the Pre-Migration Checks page. Click Review Migration when you're done. This can take a bit of time as Atlassian does its checks. If any errors appear, try to correct them before moving forward. For example, go to your destination cloud site to make sure that the Jira projects and Tempo apps are installed there. Remember that you now need both Tempo Core and each Tempo app to be installed separately. Once that's done, return to the JCMA page on DC and click Review Migration. And then review any last warnings or errors on this page. Finally, click Run to run a test migration. It is critical to do this to identify any potential issues before the full migration. You can view the details of the migration as it's happening. Note that this process can take quite a bit of time depending on the amount of data you're migrating. Once the test migration is complete, you can review the logs and address any errors. When you feel confident, run the full migration. This will transfer your Tempo data to your destination cloud site. After the migration is complete, don't forget these essential post-migration steps. Thoroughly check that your Tempo data, such as timesheets, plans, reports, accounts, etc., has been migrated correctly to your Tempo cloud site. Go to the pages for Tempo teams and Tempo accounts. Confirm that all your teams and accounts have been migrated and that the data within them is accurate. Carefully validate your Jira projects, especially those using security schemes. Projects with security schemes may be missing data due to permission differences. If you encounter this, please contact Tempo support for assistance. We're here to help. After ensuring that everything is working correctly in the cloud, you can decommission your Jira DC instance. If you encounter issues during your migration, please consult the Tempo Cloud Migration documentation. Common problems include the migration getting stuck, user mapping errors, and data inconsistencies, such as work logs or work attributes not appearing in the cloud. And don't hesitate to reach out to Tempo support for assistance. If you do contact support, we recommend speeding up the troubleshooting process by including the URL of the cloud instance to which you're migrating, and a support zip file from your DC instance. Here are some extra tips to keep in mind as you plan your migration. Do your migration during off-peak hours. Communicate the migration plan clearly to your team. Check your debug logs from pre-migration for any clues about migration issues. And here are some resources, most of which have already been mentioned, to help you migrate to cloud. The JCMA documentation, the Tempo Help Center, Tempo Apps Feature Comparison, DC and Cloud, the Tempo Support Portal, and a link to contact sales for a Tempo on Cloud demo. We wish you all the best with your migration. Thanks for watching and have a great day.